Imagine this. You're in a duel. Your breath fogs the cold morning air. Steel gleams under a sun not yet risen. And the man across from you, he's already won, in his mind. That's Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai. 60 duels, 0 losses, no armor, no fear. Just 2 blades, 1 mind, and a philosophy carved from blood, silence, and truth. But the Book of 5 Rings isn't about swords, not really. It's about cutting through illusion. Yours, mine, the world's. It's a manual for domination, on the battlefield, in business, in life. It tells you how to win, without looking like you're trying. Written from a cave, yes, a literal cave, in the final days of his life. Musashi handed the world his final strike, not against a man, against delusion. He named it after the 5 elements of Japanese esoteric cosmology: earth, water, fire, wind, void. But these aren't just scrolls, they're mirrors. Each one shows you what you're missing, and what's silently wrecking your power. Musashi's genius wasn't just skill with blades, it was his sight. He saw through moves, through people, through form. He didn't play the game, he dismantled it. So let me ask you, are you fighting visible enemies or invisible habits? Do you react to life or read it like a strategy board? Because this isn't a book breakdown, this is combat prep for your modern war. Mental, emotional, digital, relational. If you want to win in a world full of distractions, weakness, and noise, you don't need motivation. You need strategy. You need presence. You need clarity, like a blade. Each ring in this book will hurt, because it will show you where you're soft. But each one will heal you too, because it will show you how to harden. Don't treat this like philosophy. Treat it like a weapon. The most dangerous one, self-mastery. Let's begin with the ground beneath everything. Musashi doesn't open with flair. He opens with foundation. Because without the ground, the blade means nothing. This is the Earth Scroll, the first law of all war. You don't rise higher than your discipline is deep. Forget flashy moves. Forget the final boss fight. Musashi starts where most people lose before they even begin, by thinking they're ready when they're not. Strategy is the craft of the warrior, not the gift, not the luck. The craft, that means built, trained, sharpened. He says before you strike, know the way of all crafts. Why? Because the sword is not special. The sword is a tool, like a chisel, like a brush, like a plan. He compares a warrior to a carpenter. The good carpenter doesn't just bang nails. He knows wood, knows weather, knows where the wall needs weight and where it needs space. Same with the warrior. You're not here to swing wildly. You're here to construct your fight, build your moment, frame your win. He drills one thing, know the smallest things and the biggest things become clear. Most people lose because they're too proud to master basics. They want speed, they want flair. But Earth doesn't care about flair, it cares about structure. To learn the sword, you must learn the way of all professions. Read that again. He's not telling you to just practice your art. He's saying become obsessed with mastery in everything. Cooking, building, drawing. Why? Because excellence doesn't care where you meet it. It just changes you once you do. The Earth Scroll also slaps modern ego, because Musashi's saying don't chase style, don't try to look skilled, become skilled. That's it. 0 fluff, 0 ritual, 0 flex. He's laying down your compass. Learn rhythm, learn timing, learn space, and don't just learn them with a weapon, learn them inside your mind. You must examine this well. He repeats this over and over, almost coldly, because he knows how easy it is to drift into delusion, to think you got it. After a few wins, that's when you fall. So here's your modern truth. If you don't know your daily rhythm, you're not ready for war. If your time is scattered, so are you. If you don't dominate the boring reps, you'll crumble when the moment comes. The Earth Scroll is brutal because it's boring. But that's the point. Everyone wants fire. Few want soil. Earth is habit. Earth is pattern. Earth is grind. And grind builds the edge. Musashi isn't hyping you up. He's anchoring you. He's whispering the real flex. Not talent, not rage. Repetition. This scroll is where the ego dies, and the warrior is born, because before you conquer others, you need to command your ground. That's not metaphor. That's muscle memory. That's time control. That's owning your triggers, your space, your moment. So what's the earth scroll in your life? Your calendar, your morning, your principles, your sleep. Whatever it is, lock it down, bury it deep. Because without it, you'll never stand tall enough to strike. Musashi shifts from earth to water, from structure to flow. Welcome to the water scroll, where victory comes not from rigidity, but from becoming ungraspable. Here's the truth. If you're predictable, you're beatable. And most people, they walk through life with patterns written all over them. Emotionally, verbally, physically. Water has no fixed form. Put it in a bowl, it becomes the bowl. Put it on the blade, it becomes death. This scroll is about one thing: adaptation. But not sloppy, feel good, go with the flow. Musashi's flow is razor sharp. It's trained, controlled, tactical. When you attain the way of strategy, there will not be one thing you cannot see. That line isn't poetry, it's warning. He's saying train until your sight pierces the veil, until rhythm isn't something you follow, it's something you command. He describes techniques, sure, one sword, two sword, footwork, but they're not the point. The point is, know the timing of everything. Your opponent, your team, your market, your fear. Most people swing at the wrong time. They strike when the opening isn't real, and they miss when it is. To master timing, you must train constantly and not think dishonestly of yourself. Translation: no self-lees. No "I've got this" when you're unprepared. No ego shadowing your senses. Water doesn't resist, but it responds. Instantly, accurately, without drama. Musashi wants you to move like that. See clearly, act simply, return to stillness. He also warns, do not let the enemy lead. That includes the enemy in your own head. If you let emotion dictate movement, you're no longer water, you're steam, controlled by heat, vanishing in pressure. Instead, he teaches, feel without clinging, strike without hesitation, adapt without panic. Think of how most people fight. They tense up, they rush, they try to overpower. Water doesn't rush, it erodes, it flows where you're weakest, then it breaks you from within. Musashi's method: stay relaxed until it's time to cut, then cut once. That's the move. He also wants you to mirror reality. That's why he trains with both swords. He doesn't cling to one form. He makes new forms when needed. This scroll kills perfectionism. It ends overthinking. Because hesitation is frozen water, and frozen water shatters on impact. So how do you practice the water scroll today? Watch how people move. Listen to timing in conversations. Feel your own patterns tighten under pressure. Train until your actions are water. No wasted motion, no sharp edges unless needed. Water can't be held, but it can drown kings. Musashi doesn't want you to be liked. He wants you to be unreadable, unshakable, untouchable. And that's not charm, that's presence. So stop clinging to your style, your image, your plan. Start seeing rhythm and learn to flow straight through it, silently. We built the ground. We mastered the flow. Now we ignite the strike. This is the fire scroll. Not warmth, not comfort, combat. Musashi stops teaching how to move and starts teaching when to burn everything down. Fire doesn't negotiate, it consumes. In battle, if you make your opponent flinch, you have already won. Read that twice, because most people lose before contact. They flinch, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. They fear confrontation. Musashi doesn't. He engineers it. He says attack before they breathe. Create tension. Disrupt rhythm. Own the psychological terrain before steel even clashes. Fire to Musashi isn't rage. It's pressure. Sustained, strategic, relentless. He teaches you to read the opponent, then force them into your tempo, like chess, with blood. In all things, timing is crucial. Timing is the essence of strategy. Timing isn't just fast, it's right. Too early, you whiff. Too late, you bleed. Perfect, you win. Clean, and forever. He breaks it down like a surgeon. Fight, engage, disrupt, overwhelm, finish. No fluff, no fancy, just ruthless sequence. But here's the twist. Fire must never come from emotion. The second you fight angry, you're blind. The second you react, you're trapped. The important thing in strategy is to suppress your own feelings. Musashi doesn't want your passion. He wants your precision, because a calm blade cuts cleaner. This scroll is about dominance without desperation. If earth is structure and water is flow, fire is command, you take initiative. You seize momentum. You shatter assumptions. He says, always aim for disruption, in motion, in speech, in silence. When your opponent expects loud, whisper. When they expect stillness, explode. Fire is not chaos. It's a controlled burn. It's knowing exactly how much force is required and never using more than that. Because waste is weakness and excess is ego. Here's where this hits modern life hard. Your enemy might not wear armor. They might wear a smile, or a suit, or your own reflection. Musashi says, know their rhythm, then invade it. Not emotionally, tactically. He doesn't want you to destroy people. He wants you to destroy openings. What's an opening? A moment of doubt, a shift in energy, a change in breath, a twitch in pattern. See it, strike, don't think, just act. This scroll is also about volume. Never let the enemy rest. Keep moving, keep pressuring, keep burning. It's how wildfire spreads. It doesn't pause, it multiplies. And when your presence becomes pressure, they break before the blade touches them. So how do you use this now? Train yourself to read people under stress. Practice silence as pressure. Lead conversations like combat. Learn to strike while they're still blinking. Fire is the moment you stop preparing and start finishing. It's the scroll where warriors are no longer learners, they're closers. Musashi gives you the permission most people never take. Be decisive, be cold, be done. You've built the ground. You've flowed like water. You've burned like fire. Now Musashi turns the blade outward to dissect others and dismantle style itself. Welcome to the wind scroll. Not about weather, not about movement. Wind means style, as in what others cling to. Musashi's verdict: style is weakness. Why? Because style is habit, and habit makes you predictable, and predictable gets you killed. He starts tearing through rival schools, one by one, not out of ego, out of precision. In strategy, it is important to see distant things as if they were close, and to take a distanced view of close things. That's the skill, distorted sight correction. Don't get impressed by closeness. Don't get deceived by flash. He says most schools train students to look skilled. Polished footwork, elegant poses, perfect stances. But in real battle, form breaks, flash dies, only truth cuts. So what does he do? He watches their patterns. He studies their principles. Then he exposes their rigidity, because if you train one way, expect one outcome. Need one sequence, you're already done. The Wind Scroll isn't just about sword schools, it's about every belief system you follow without testing. Every technique you refuse to question. Every routine you defend just because it's yours. That's why most people never evolve. They build a style, then protect it like it's sacred. Musashi says, burn it. Be a strategist, not a stylist. Let's modernize that. In business, don't worship your method. Adapt to the market. In conversation, don't rely on charm. Read energy. In creativity, don't force aesthetics. Follow effect. Musashi's Wind Scroll is spiritual aikido. You don't clash with the opponent. You redirect them. You outsee them. You let them bring their style. Then you make it collapse under your awareness. But the deeper point, Musashi wants you to drop your own style too, because identity is heavy. Form is brittle, and the more you cling to how you do things, the less you'll see how things really are. Even if a man has no natural ability, he can be a warrior if he has the will to learn. In other words, skill is earned. Style is inherited. Choose which one you serve. The Wind Scroll trains freedom from image. It's psychological judo. Flip others by seeing their reliance on form, and never let them find yours. That's power. Here's how to use this now. Question every rule you follow. Study opponents, not to copy them, but to find their hinges. Never defend an idea just because it's yours. Learn to shift tone, rhythm, delivery, without warning. Be wind, No shape, just direction. Because when they swing at your style, but there's nothing to hit, you own the field. This scroll ends identity worship. It kills the ego that says, "This is just how I do it." It forces you to evolve, not once, not twice, constantly, because survival belongs to the formless. Now the blade disappears. So does the stance. So does the fighter. This is the void scroll, the final ring, where nothingness becomes everything. Void isn't emptiness. Void is presence beyond thought. By knowing things that exist, you can know that which does not exist. Musashi doesn't end his masterpiece with technique. He ends it with truth beyond words. This scroll isn't for your mind, it's for your awareness. Because once you've mastered earth, water, fire, and wind, you realize the real enemy isn't out there. It's the noise in here. The void scroll silences that noise. Not by force, by vanishing. Musashi teaches what Zen calls no mind, mushin, no hesitation, no analysis, no identity, only action that arises naturally, not instinct, not reaction, not emotion, clarity. Void is the pause before the strike. That's already struck. The awareness so pure, you don't move. Movement happens through you. The spirit is emptiness. The form is nothingness. This scroll is terrifying because it asks you to stop clinging to plans, to pride, to self. In void, there's no "I am this kind of warrior." There's no "this is how I win." There's just the moment, unfolding, and your presence slicing cleanly through it. Think about your life. How much are you forcing? How much are you controlling, calculating, clenching? Void says release, not to give up, to transcend. That's the paradox. Ultimate mastery looks like nothing, because it needs nothing. No affirmation, no form, no show. Just pure, unshakable clarity. The kind that walks into chaos and doesn't flinch, because it's not even there. This scroll is not practical in the way you want. It's not about what to do, it's about how to be. But Musashi still trains you. He says, train so deeply in form that you forget form exists. Drill your mind until it forgets the drills. Then act from that forgetting. The way is in training. That's all. Void doesn't come from meditating in a cave. It comes from doing the thing, so often, so purely, that you become invisible inside it. In void, every strike is one with the moment. No effort, no overreach, just inevitability. So what does this mean for you? Drop the need to prove. Let go of over-planning. Lose the story of how things should be. Show up and see what's truly there. The real sword doesn't cut. It divides illusion from truth. Musashi ends his legacy in silence. Not with a scream, not with a victory lap, but with stillness. Because the final lesson isn't how to win, it's how to be untouchable. Void is that place. No expectation, no fear, no need. And from that place, you move without doubt. Strike without delay, live without resistance. It's not empty, it's freedom. Final line from Musashi. Go alone to the cliff. Sit. Look into the void. Know that there is no enemy if you vanish before they strike. You don't need motivation. You need clarity. You don't need more opinions. You need the mirror. And if this video was your mirror, then sharpen what you saw. This wasn't entertainment. This was training. So if you're ready to walk the path, Musashi walked with no applause, no backup, no mercy. Subscribe. Like this video if you felt even one cut of truth, and drop a comment. I walk alone. That's your vow. That's your signal that you're not just a watcher, you're a warrior in the making.